Shabbat Shalom, sisters and brothers. I'd like to say first and foremost, BAHASHEM, YAHWAHSHI. All praise and honor and glory to the Most High for giving me the ability to have this ministry. Kingdom come, daughter of Zion's, bring forth truth of the Tanakh, the Old Testament, and wisdom to the daughters of Zion. I thank you for this privilege. What I was doing is this is my part four of the offering regulations coming from the book of Numbers, chapters 28 and 29 on this Sabbath day. So Shabbat Shalom to all the Akim and the daughters of Zion out there. Today is a day where we have a holy convocation. We rest and with the Most High because He rested when He made the creation on the seventh day. Salakia. So I'd like to say shalom to all of you. I'm going to start. We ended with. I'm sorry, the previous video was sort of cut off. I reached my limit with the monthly offering, which we were just going over. Now, the next segment of part four is going to be talking about the offering regulations of the Passover, the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, and the Feast of the Tabernacles. And then finally, I think in closing, we'll talk about other offerings and what's required of us on according to those offerings as well. So the children of Israel, the 12 tribes, sojourned through the wilderness, and as they sojourned under the hand and under the staff of Moshe, which is Moses, he had the staff which had power in it, and Aaron was the priest, him and his sons, that tended to the Holy of Holies, the Most High. So as a result, the children of Israel were commanded by Moses to do certain offerings and offering regulations. And so the one that I wanted to talk about now was now this is for the daughters of Zion to understand. These videos are designed to help you know how to prepare your homes for these offerings and what you can do so that you have some idea of, well, what is it? What do we do on these, offering days? Because I know I was there coming out of the Christian church. I had a clue because I had been looking at, other Jewish nations doing this, but I didn't understand it fully until I totally got my understanding as to who I was as being one of the children of Israel. Not sure yet now, to be totally honest, if I'm of the book, excuse me, the children of Levi, Benjamin, or Judah, because my brother, I need him to take my the DNA test, and which is what we're working on now, and I'm going to release those results very soon. So you want to keep watching because that's going to be a very interesting day. It gives the haplotype, which tells you that if you are one of the children of Israel, you are from the E1B1 haplotype, and that is your genetic um, makeup, the chromosome for the male line, which is how we are recognized as being through our DNA, our bloodline, one of the children of Israel, and in that Hebraic lineage. So we were given commandments from the Most High through Moses, and Aaron the priest and his sons would tend to the Holy of Holies, which was the altar. And as a result, all of the children of Israel during these appointed times were to bring either, a ram, a bull, a lamb, or a kid goat up to the Holy of Holies for either a sin offering, a peace offering, a burnt offering, for an atonement offering, some kind of offering, a free will offering, or there was a drink offering or a grain offering for different things. They were very busy. Yes, they were. And because we're in modern times, we don't all have farms. So how do we do this? Okay. So that's where I come in. And that is why I'm doing these videos, to kind of help you and show you how I do it. I'm not saying you have to follow me. You have to get your own discernment and your own, let your spirit guide you according to the Most High. Okay. And so the day of Passover, now we go according to the calendar of the Enoch calendar, which were 10 months only in the Old Testament. And because the children of Israel were only able to count the high holy days according to the Sabbaths. So they would count from Sabbath to Sabbath, and then that way they would know, and then according to the new moons, what holy high day it was. So now we're coming up on Passover. our New Year's is the first month of the year, which is the solstice month of Abib. That is in March. Okay, so we just had our Passover. And so it says Passover is on the 14th day of the first month, which is a month of Abib. And Salakia, if I'm reading this, and on the 15th day we have the feast of unleavened bread, of unleavened, meaning bread without yeast, because the children of Israel had to leave um, Egypt and Pharaoh in haste whenever the Most High changed Pharaoh's heart at the 13th time and said, he said, let my people go. And Pharaoh was obedient. Okay. So they left in haste. And so the first day of this feast, they have a holy congregation, and there is no servile work to do on that first day, meaning no work for your boss, no working for anyone else, no kind of cutting grass or cleaning, washing your car, or, you don't go to the mall buying or selling anything. You stay within your gates in your home. You have a holy convocation with your priest, which is the man of your household that is in this truth, and let him teach you according to the word, because he's the only one that is given the secrets and is given the how to break down the scriptures, precept upon precept, line upon line. Here a little, there a little is how they're taught to break down these scriptures, and they're given the secrets of the Most High. So we have to listen to them because they know, and they give us the understanding. And of course, we get wisdom and understanding as we read the scriptures, as the Lord, um, gives us the ability to understand, and then, ascertain certain things according to the wisdom He's giving to us. But as far as being taught, that is who our teachers are. Those are who our teachers are. No matter what you've been told. So, getting back to Passover. So, we're going to observe Passover on the 14th day of the first month of Abib, which is March. The other Jews do it in April, which is around Easter, and Easter is not even a holiday that we keep, because that's a pagan holiday of some god of Esther that is a fertility god, and it has, our Passover has nothing to do with Easter bunnies and eggs and Easter bunny. I know it's very cute because I grew up as a pagan child in the Christian doctrine and in the Christian church, which our parents were very religious and God-fearing people, and they knew that, they knew the word, but we were all in our ignorance. Okay, so now that I know the truth has set me free. Okay, and that's why I'm here to help give you the truth so you can be set free, and set free indeed. Okay, so on Passover, which is the 14th day of the first month of Abib, on the 15th day we have a feast. Okay, and it's beautiful, of unleavened bread. And so we eat unleavened bread without feast for 7 days. And I'll show you what I do. I actually do go and buy matzus because they do not contain yeast. You can get these, they're sold in Walmart stores. They're also still sold in Publix and Whole Foods. I'm not sure if you have Aldi's or Wegmans, whatever region you're in. There may be some other places that I don't know, Safeway in Northern Virginia. Look in your specialty grocery stores, they are there. But what we don't do is we don't go into stores where, other nations have prayed over and had rituals over their products or food, because that is, again, kind of getting into a shady area. But we pray if we happen to be in one and we don't have a choice, and we just pray over that, to release any um, spirit that might be on it, so that it flees in the name of YAHWAHSHI. So it has to be in the right name, okay, in order for it to be effective. And that's another video. But anyway, so Passover, so the first day of Passover, what we're going to do, is have a holy convocation, and we don't work on that day. So the priests in our homes are going to be bringing forth the word of truth, okay, and teaching the wife and the children, all right, and others, the strangers and the foreigners that are sojourned with us. So we invite people over to celebrate the Passover and observe the Passover with us. That is a high, major holy day. And during that time, we have an offering made by fire. And on the seventh day of that 14 days, we have a holy convocation and there's no work because the seventh day usually falls on a Sabbath day anyway. So we have a double Sabbath. It's just beautiful when you really think about it and get that in your spirit. I love even saying it. I'm sorry, I just had a moment because I love the Lord. I love Yahweh. I love YAHWAHSHI. I love bringing this truth to the nations. I'm just really emotional right now because um, I thank Him for allowing me to be in this truth. Makes me want to cry. Forgive me, Salakia. So, without further ado, I didn't want to make this video too long, but so on Passover, what we do, ladies, is we prepare food for our families and all of the people that are joined up with Israel, okay, in our homes. And our feast only we take all of the yeast, anything with yeast in it, even though in the New Testament the yeast represents the sin in our homes. So we want to get rid because the people back then, because they had to flee Egypt in haste, they didn't have time to knead the bread. When you're making bread and it takes time to rise, over time, they didn't have time to do that. So Moses said, make your bread in haste, and so they had bitter herbs, which represented the bitter herb, the times, and then the lamb shank that was, also representative of the lamb that was the Passover lamb, because they had to kill a lamb to get the blood to put on their doorpost so that the death angel would not kill the firstborn in their house. I mean, it's a long but beautiful story about how YAHWAHSHI was actually there in the beginning with the Most High, blessing the children of Israel and being their salvation at that time and redemption for them even then. So it has a lot of significance. Passover does. And so what we do today is, we have the Ten Commandments on our doorpost and some of the blood, which could be in a picture or some kind of thing that you make and put on your doorpost to signify as a sign of who you are, the children of Israel. Our women, we cover our heads because that respects and gives honor to our covering, which is our husbands and our men. And the men wear the mitres with their crown open so that their prayers are heard and go to the Most High. And that's how they honor the Most High, because that is the order of things. It would be Yahweh, our men, the priest, and then the women, and we teach the children and our other women. Okay, so that's how we are to be submissive to our husbands and working with them as a um, gentle, soft-spoken, gentle spirit, soft-spoken woman to complement them in that way. And that is where our beauty comes from, ladies, from the inside. And so, you know, we during the next when we talk over about the Day of Atonement, we'll talk about inflicting our souls, and that is a time where we ask for forgiveness, but we have to repent every day, all day long, all the time, because women, we have become a very different species, I would have to say, outside of those of us that are Israel. Um, that our men that are Israel, that are in this truth, are looking at us like, ladies, young women, what are we doing? We are not to follow these Babylonian ways or their trends or their, act like them or talk like them or walk like them and wear the same clothes or want to be like them and chase the same things that they're chasing or talk like them and rule over their men and push the men to be, the kings and the masters of the universe, and just, drive them in the ground for money, 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 because we are a people after the Most High's own heart. We're supposed to be striving. Our perfection is supposed to be on things eternal. Our minds and our hearts are supposed to be only focused on that and doing the will of our Father and working with our husbands to bring this truth forward for the kingdom to come, because we have next. The Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of the next world to come, which is the New Jerusalem that is spoken of in the kingdom of heaven. And this Jerusalem that's being occupied and surrounded by armies now, that's actually prophecy. So it should tell you the people that are in there posing as Israel are not Israel. because Israel's not supposed to be there. We're scattered all over the world because he says in the last days, I'm going to bring you back. The four winds of the earth, where they're going to bring us back and set us in our own land. So we're not in our own land because of course it says when you get and come to the promised land and to your own land, then you are to observe these, regulations and do these commands and keep the Sabbath and all this stuff. But we still are commanded to do it, even here, in the land of bondage, in America, and in other countries where we are, where you might be listening to this video. So I'm going to stop this video now and go next. We're going to talk about the Feast of Weeks in video part 5. Okay, and I promise I won't make this too long, but I know I get off on a rant sometimes, but I just want to give you daughters as much as I can to help you understand what to do. So for the Passover, we cook foods without yeast, bitter herbs, that can be any salads without any sweet stuff in it, maybe some vegetables that don't taste very good to represent. But read that chapters, 20, 28 and 29 of the book of Numbers, and also the book of Exodus, okay, and Deuteronomy, because it tells you exactly what foods to prepare too. And then you can, do things, but all of the yeast has to be taken out of your homes, that is in bread, any kind of cakes, any box items, anything in your refrigerator, anything that has yeast in it or enriched flour or like that. Do your research. Go on the internet and research those things. For that 14 days, that is a command, and it's not coming from me, but it is a command of the Most High, because He says we have to be careful to observe His commands. So in part 5, we're going to talk about the Feast of Weeks, which is what we're now observing. So Salakia, um, for taking too long, but brothers and elders from the four corners of the earth that are bringing this truth with all sincerity and heart, Shalom and Kwam Sharla, to all Israel, rise, come together and let's get this truth out, to the nation. So Shabbat Shalom, and I'll see you on part 5, which is the Feast of Weeks, the next video.